Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Imran. I hope you are doing well and will be enjoying learning linguistics and literature with Muhammad Imran. In today's lecture, we will discuss formal links and discourse analysis. This lecture will be divided into two parts. In part first, we will define and discuss what are formal links in discourse analysis. Then we will differentiate coherence from cohesion. And finally, we will discuss verb forms and parallelism as cohesive devices in discourse analysis. So let's begin and learn today's lecture. In order to understand what are formal links in discourse analysis, you have to focus this picture for a while. So this is a chain. A chain is a series of metal rings which connect one part with another one. Now, if one of the metal ring is missing, the chain breaks down. It doesn't work properly. It loses its strength. It loses its power. So the same is true of discourse also. If in a discourse we don't have formal links, the discourse cannot give proper meaning. So then the discourse loses its meaning. The discourse loses its unity. The discourse loses its coherence and cohesion. So this is the topic of today's lecture. We will discuss how one part of a sentence is connected with another one with the help of cohesive device, or how one word is connected with another one with the help of cohesive devices. So we use cohesive devices in discourse in order to make the discourse meaningful, or in order to make the discourse coherent. So let's begin our today's lecture and discuss in detail formal links in discourse analysis. So this lecture primarily it appeals to students of BS English because it is one of the subject of BS English students, and the lecture is also very much fruitful for those who are conducting their researches in discourse analysis. So they can take formal links and they can analyze a short story, they can analyze a novel, or they can do discourse analysis of a speech, they can do discourse analysis of a conversation. So it is very much relevant and helpful for those also who are interested to conduct their researches in discourse analysis. So let's begin our today's lecture. So formal links. Within the formal links, we have formal and we have contextual links. Sometimes when we do discourse analysis, so we look for the features inside the language. And then these features are formally called as formal links. And sometimes when we do discourse analysis, so we look for the features outside of the language. Then such kind of links are called contextual links, right? So then formal links are associated with cohesion in discourse, while contextual links are associated with coherence in discourse, right? In order to account for discourse, we need to look at features outside the language. These facts enable us to construct stretches of language as discourse, as having meaning and unity for us. So when we look at for the features outside of the language, so we are dealing with coherence. And when we look for the features inside the language, we are dealing with cohesion. Now, the way we recognize correct and incorrect sentences is different, because in discourse analysis, our sentences may be grammatically correct or may be grammatically incorrect, because we are not looking for grammatical features. We are looking for whether the sentences are well knitted, well connected or not, whether these sentences together give us meaning or not, whether this piece of text is meaningful or not. So this is the focus. We are not looking for whether sentences are grammatically correct or not correct. Maybe sentences are grammatically correct, or maybe sentences are grammatically incorrect. So this is not the job of a discourse analyst. Discourse analysts look for whether the sentences are well knitted or not. Sometimes these sentences will be connected through contextual links, and sometimes these sentences will be connected through formal links. Sometimes there will be cohesion and sometimes there will be coherence. Two ways of approaching language as: approach first, formal features, and approach two, contextual features. Remember, formal features are those features which are inside the language, and contextual features are those features which are outside of the language. So formal features deal with cohesion in discourse, and contextual features deal with coherence in discourse. So then cohesion will be something which is concrete or which has physical realization, while coherence is something which is abstract. We cannot see, but we can logically think whether the sentence is logically connected or not. Let's discuss these two features. Formal features. Formal features referring to facts inside language. For example, we look for verb form, we look for parallelism, we look for referring expression, we look for substitution. We will discuss these all formal links one by one in coming slides. So right now you need to remember this, that formal features are such features which are inside the language and which have physical realization. That's why we can see them, we can realize them physically, and formal features are associated with cohesion. We also call them cohesive devices. Now, formal features in some way built up in our mind from the block marks which form writing on the pages. So we can see them, they are formed in mind, and then we can write on a blank page, or even we can use in conversation, or from the speech sounds picked up by our ears. So there are physical realizations of formal features. Now, approach to contextual features. I told you that contextual features are associated with coherence, and these are the features which are outside of the language. They are called contextual features, right? Or they are called contextual links. So contextually, we know whether one sentence is connected with another one or not. Something like abstract. It's in our mind, okay? And our logic tells us whether one sentence is connected with the previous one or not. So contextual features referring to facts outside language. Quite opposite of this one. Now, formal features inside language. And contextual features, they are facts outside language, knowledge stored in the mind about the real world. Now, contextual features are somewhere outside these physical realizations of the language. So you see that then contextual features are abstract. It's our mind, or pre-existing in the mind of participants. Stretches of language treated only formally or referred to as text. So this slide is very informative and very important, and here we learn how cohesion is different from coherence. So cohesion is something which is concrete, while coherence is something which is abstract. In cohesion, we look for the features which are inside the language, and in coherence, we look for the features which are outside the language. So that's why they are also called contextual features, because we don't have the features which are inside the language. We use our logic, we use the context, we look at the shared culture knowledge, and from shared culture knowledge, from our logic, we can say whether this sentence is connected with another one or not. While in cohesion, we look for formal features. Also, we call them like cohesive devices. So this was the overall difference between cohesion and coherence in discourse analysis. So our focus of this lecture is to look for formal features or cohesive devices. We will discuss one by one now. So here we have formal links. We will discuss these formal links one by one in detail now. Formal links between sentences and between clauses are known as cohesive devices. So formally and technically, these formal links are known as cohesive devices. So we have then verb form, we have parallelism, we have referring expressions, we have repetitions and lexical chains, we have substitution, we have ellipsis, and we have conjunctions. So these are formal links, or these are cohesive devices, which are the features inside the language, and they are used to connect sentences, they are used to connect paragraphs, and they are used to connect clauses as well as words. So let's discuss one by one in detail now. So first we will discuss verb form as cohesive device. How a verb is used to connect clauses, sentences, and paragraph. Let's discuss it. For example, you're writing a paragraph, and this paragraph consists of 10 sentences. And if you write first sentence in present tense, you must write second sentence also in present tense. You must write third sentence also in present tense. You must write fourth sentence also in present tense. In the same way, we can simply say that all sentences in a paragraph you must write in simple present tense. In other words, you must be consistent in verb form. It's not necessary. I don't mean that you have to write paragraph in simple present tense. No, not at all. I mean that, for example, you're writing a paragraph and it's a story, right? Or it's a narration. You're describing something. You are explaining something. So you must be consistent in verb form. If the first sentence you are using past tense, then in all sentences you must use past tense. If in the first sentence you are using present tense, then in all sentences you must use present tense. In this way, you will be consistent in using verb form. And when you are consistent, it means that your writing or your speech is then well coherent, right? And there'll be unity. So the form of the verb in one sentence can limit the choice of the verb form in the next. If in one sentence you are using present tense, then in the other sentence you must use also present tense. Otherwise, there'll be no connection or there'll be no link between sentences. So this is the verb form which creates link between sentences. So, and we may be justified in saying that in the verb form in one sentence is wrong. If, for example, in sentence first you are using present tense, and in sentence 2 you are using past tense, then we will be justifying to say that the verb form is wrong, because one sentence cannot be linked with another one, or at least unlikely, because it does not fit with the form in another. So in the first example, there seems a degree of formal connection, while in the second example, the formal connection is missing. Example. So here we have example, how a formal link is built and how a formal link is missing. Let's discuss it. Example first. A says, right, who's going to lift the bottom? Well, come on, someone's got to take the all of it. B says, I ain't going to. So you can see that the verb form in this example is consistent, right? So there seems a formal links, because going, who's going is a present tense, present continuous tense, and someone has got, it's also present tense, right? And I am going to is also present continuous tense. So this example we have three verb form: going, present tense, has got, present tense, and going, present tense. Don't confuse, okay, that it is perfect tense. It's present tense. It is used as an expression that someone has got to take all of it. So these all three verb forms are in present tense. That's why that this sentence is linked with this one and this sentence is linked with this one. So there exist formal links through verb form. In this example, here's problem. For example, it says, right, who is going to lift the bottom? While someone had got to take hold of it. You can see that the first sentence, who is going, which is present tense. In the second sentence, while someone had got to take hold of it, it's past tense. In sentence first, going to, who's going to is a present tense. In sentence 2, someone had got, it is past tense. And B says, I shouldn't have going to, right? I shouldn't have been going to. Again, we can see here we have a perfect continuous tense. And then A says, don't come on, well, you. Again, we have a different verb form. So in the second example, we have different verb form. That's why we don't have formal links in the second example. Again, in sentence first, we have present tense. In second sentence 2, had got to, past tense. In sentence 3, we have perfect continuous tense. And in sentence 4, we have future time. So we have different verbs form. That's why there seems no formal connection between sentences. That's why there would be no cohesion. So this is the best examples. I have given 2 examples to you people. In the example first, there seems proper connection. There seems cohesion. and proper verb form is used, and because of these, where we were, sorry for inconvenient. Okay, we are here. So present tense, and present tense. Here we have the present tense, then we have past tense, we have perfect tense, and then again, finally we have future time. So by verb form, don't confuse yourself. There are several videos which tell you that verb form means to use correct verb form. No, not at all. In discourse analysis, in formal links, in cohesive devices, by verb form, we don't mean to use correct verb form. We mean to use such verb form which are consistent, or we mean to use the same verb form in all sentences in order to make them coherent, or in other words, to make them meaningful. Because if there is cohesion, the sentences would be meaningful, and if there are formal links, then sentences would be meaningful. So this was all about verb forms. Another cohesive device is known as parallelism. By parallelism, we mean the use of same or similar structure. For example, if you are using one kind of structure in a sentence, so the same structure should be repeated in another sentence too. And in this way, you are linking one sentence with another, or you are making a kind of relationship between sentences. Right? So parallelism is a device which suggests a connection simply because the form of one sentence or clause repeats the form of another. So the same form is repeated in all sentences, and through this we can have connection between sentences, and this will make your discourse meaningful. Okay. So this is often used in speeches, prayers, poetry, and advertisement. It can have a powerful emotional effect. So why is it used? Is it used to create powerful emotional effect, or to print something in the mind of audience or in the mind of reader? That's why parallelism is used. It doesn't have to be necessarily grammatically parallelism. It may be grammatically parallelism, or it may be sound parallelism. Not important that all the time it will be a grammatical parallelism. Sometimes it may be grammatical, sometimes it may be sound parallelism, as in the rhyme, rhythm, and other sound effect of words. So one might even extend the idea and talk of semantic parallelism. So we can have then grammatical, we can have then sound, we can have then semantic parallelism, where two sentences are linked because they mean the same thing. So then parallelism, we cannot restrict only to grammatical features. Right? We can have syntactic parallelism, we can have sound parallelism, we can have semantic parallelism, right? So you got the idea what is parallelism. The same or similar structures which are repeated in sentences, and through this, we can connect one sentence with another. And this make our discourse meaningful, right? So we tie one sentence with another. We create formal links between sentences. Here we have example of parallelism. Teach us God, Lord, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds. You can see the structure: to give and not to count the cost. The first one, to give, and then negative, not to count the cost. To fight, affirmative, and not to heed the wounds, this negative. To toil, that is affirmative, and not to seek for the rest, that is negative. To labor and to ask for no rewards. Save that of knowledge that we do thy will. So this is the example of parallelism. So this structure, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wound. So one sentence structure is repeated in the second, to toil and not to seek for the cost, and the third, and to labor and to seek for no rewards, and that is the fourth. And the last one, it is summarized that save that of knowledge that we do thy will. Now here the discourse proceeds through a repeated grammatical structure. To X and not to Y. To give something and not the Y. For Z, into which different words are slotted, creating a rhythm which is finally broken in the last phrase in a way which may seem to imitate the sense of relief and reward that the prayer concerns. So this was the example of parallelism. Here we have another example of parallelism. He vastly enriched the world by his invention. He enriched the field of knowledge by his teaching. You can see that this structure is repeated in the second one. He vastly enriched the world by his invention, and he enriched the field of knowledge by his teaching. Right? What he did, and the same what he did also repeated in the second sentence. And he enriched humanity by his precepts and his personal example. He died on December 17, 1907. He was buried in Westminster Abbey with honor due to a Prince of Man. So you can see that the same structure is repeated also in the following sentences. He vastly enriched the world by his invention. He enriched the field of knowledge by his teaching. He enriched the humanity by his precept and his principle and his personal example. So through this repetition of the same or similar structure, you can create a powerful emotional effect on the mind of your reader or audience. Parallelism in rhyme. As we discussed in earlier slide, that we also use parallel structure in sound. For example, we may have also a sound parallelism as in rhyme, rhythm, and other sound effect of words. And that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. You can see when Abraham Lincoln says in his speech that government of the people, by the people, for the people. We have the same sound structure. You can see government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The same sound structure is repeated. Now, one might even extend the idea and talk of semantic parallelism where two sentences are linked because they mean the same thing. Thank you so much. It was all about part first of this lecture. We define, we discuss what are formal links, we differentiated cohesion from coherence, and we talk about the importance of cohesion and coherence in discourse, and then we discuss in detail cohesive devices, and we just discussed two types of cohesive devices. One was verb form and one was parallelism. In coming lecture, in the second part of this lecture, we will discuss referring expression as a cohesive device, and we will discuss Anaphora, cataphora, and we will also talk in detail about repetition and lexical chain, and we will also discuss substitution and ellipsis. So keep watching and please provide your valuable feedback and suggestions about this lecture. Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I hope you would have learned part first of this lecture, formal links and discourse analysis. So this lecture is the extension of my previous lecture. In part first, we introduce and discuss in detail formal links and discourse analysis. We also learn how cohesion differs from coherence, and we discuss in detail two cohesive devices such as verb forms and parallelism. In the second part of lecture, we will have a detailed discussion on other cohesive devices. So let's begin our today's lecture and learn some more cohesive devices in discourse analysis. So first we will discuss referring expressions. When we speak or when we write, we use certain words whose meanings are dependable on other words or the context in which these words are used. Let's discuss referring expressions. So these are words. What referring expressions are? Words whose meanings can only be discovered by referring to other words or element of the context which are clear to both senders and receiver. This is very important, that the context in which these words are used. So the context must be clear to both sender and receiver. For example, I am sender and you are receiver. Until and unless the context is not clear to both of us, the meaning cannot be discovered from the context. So for example, if I say I ate it, so you will know the meaning of it if I already mentioned something earlier. Suppose I say I ate an apple, and then I say I ate it just an hour ago. So the meaning of it, which is a pronoun, can only be discovered if we know the meaning of the word apple. So in order to know the meaning of the it, the meaning of the it is dependable on other word, and that is apple. Or if, for example, we two are friends. Last night we had dinner somewhere and we ate fish. And now we say that the dinner was delicious and we enjoyed it a lot. So I use it for the dinner. The dinner was delicious and we enjoyed it a lot. So if I want to know the meaning of it, I have to focus on other word, and that is dinner. The most obvious example of them is third person pronoun. It's not only the third person pronoun which works in this way. The meaning of this and that, and here and there have also to be found either formally in another part of discourse or contextual from the word. For example, if I say that I was there last night, so if I use the word there, you will know the meaning of there only if you have the idea that what am I referring to. Because you ask me, okay, that where were you last night? And I tell you that I was there. So if the sender, you see that if the context is clear to both sender and receiver, then the meaning of referring expression would be clear. For example, I told you, if you ask me that where were you last night, and I tell you that I was there. So the meaning of there can be discovered from the context if the context is clear both to sender and receiver. And for example, the meaning of here can also be discovered from the context in which the word here is used. If I say come here, so the first example of referring expression we have in the form of anaphoric reference. So what is anaphora? In anaphora, first we use a word, most often a noun, follows by a pronoun. For example, if I say Ahmad is my best friend. And then I say that he is of my age. And then I say he. So first I use a word and then follows by a referring expression. So the identity of someone or something to be given once at the beginning and thereafter referred to as she or he or it. If I say that I ate a mango and then I say it was delicious. So first I use a word noun mango. I ate a mango. And then I say it was very delicious. So I use it for mango. First a word, a noun, and then we use a referring expression for it. It is known as Anaphoric Reference. Now, this makes a kind of chain running through the discourse in which each expression is linked to another. So in this way, through referring expression, we connect one sentence with another. We are talking and we are discussing formal links in discourse analysis. So how one sentence is connected with another one in discourse, that is through referring expression. So we connect one sentence with another with the help of referring expression. For example, if I say a pineapple and then I say ate. So first I use a word a pineapple and then I use it for it, and it for it. So these all it's here connect a pineapple. In this way, we will have a proper connection between sentences. So, foreign language teachers assuming that comprehension's difficulty arise from new vocabulary. So, therefore, they will use referring expressions and then they will interpret those referring expressions to the students. Can overlook the difficulty students can have in interpreting the meaning of referring expressions within discourse. So, the meaning of these referring expressions are interpreted by the teachers who are teaching English as a foreign language or who are teaching any language as a foreign language. Now we have cataphoric references or cataphora. So in cataphoric reference, first we use a pronoun or a referring expression and then we use a word, most often a noun. Let's discuss it. When we are given the pronoun first and then kept in suspense as to its identity which is revealed later. For example, if we say, here he comes, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan. So you see that first I use the pronoun he, here he comes. And then I say the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan. So here he refers to Imran Khan. First I use a pronoun, a referring expression, and then I use a noun. So this referring expression is known as cataphoric references. Another example, nobody seemed to know where they came from. You see, first is use a pronoun, a referring expression, but there they were in the forest. You see again, but there they, a pronoun, in the forest, and Kanga and baby Rao. So two persons are here, one is Kanga and other is baby Rao. So first they are introduced with the help of referring expression they, and then they are given name Kanga and baby Rao. Now, referring expression fulfill a dual purpose of unifying the text. They depend upon some of the subject matter remaining the same and of economy because they save from having to repeat the identity of what we are talking about again and again. So here the purpose of referring expression is given. So then referring expressions have dual purpose. Purpose number first, that it saves time. And purpose number two, not to repeat a word again and again. Here mentioned for the purpose of economy, saving the time, and second one that we are talking about again and again, not to repeat a word again and again. So for example, if you're writing an essay about a famous personality, you don't have to name him or her again and again, because he or she might have a big name, or the name, it may take time from you if you are mentioning or referring again and again that name. So the first purpose, that it is for the purpose of economy, to save the time, and the second, to make sentences and discourse attractive and fascinating one, not to repeat a word again and again. Another cohesive device is known as repetition and lexical chains. Repetition of words can create the same sort of chain as pronoun. So they are just like pronoun. And there are some good reasons for preferring it. In Britain, mother tongue learners of English are discouraged from using repetitions on the ground that it is bad styles. So in foreign language, the mothers or the parents discourage their children not to repeat the same expression again and again, because this is a bad style, and encourage to use the device known as elegant repetition. Now, what is elegant repetition? You have to use a synonym for it, for a word, but don't repeat the same word again and again, because it looks awkward to use the same word again and again. So therefore, it's better to use elegant repetition. You have to repeat the same idea but in different words, most probably in synonym. Where synonyms are more general words or phrases are used, so instead of writing, right? If, for example, a child writes or a child says the pineapple, the pineapple, the pineapple, the pineapple, so they might write instead of, because if you write the pineapple, the pineapple, it looks awkward. You are repeating the same word again and again. One is that you are using pronoun, that's referring expression, and one is elegant, you can say repetition, right? You are using elegant repetition instead of pineapple. For example, they may write the pineapple, the luscious fruit, or meal, or the tropical luxury. So instead of the pineapple, the luscious fruit, or meal, or the tropical luxury, so these are elegant repetition for the word pineapple. One is that for the pineapple we are using it. That would be known as referring expressions. And instead of repeating the same word, we are using elegant repetition like synonym or more general words for the word you are repeating. The kind of link that we choose will depend upon the kind of discourse we are seeking to create. An elegant repetition is not always desirable. It may sound pretentious in casual conversations or create dangerous ambiguity in the legal documents. So when you are writing like a legal documents, when you're dealing with the legal documents, or you are in a conversations which may create dangerous ambiguity, then you have to avoid what? Elegant repetition. You don't have to use general words then, because it will create ambiguity. So therefore, that elegant repetition will not work all the time. But when we are using elegant repetition in discourse, so it means that we are linking one word with another or one sentence with another as a cohesive device. Another cohesive device is known as substitution. By substitution, we mean that we replace one word for another. For example, if I ask you, do you speak English? And you tell me, yes, I do. So you are using do in place of yes, I speak English. Now, another kind of formal link between sentences is the substitution of words like do or so for a word or a group of words which have appeared in an earlier sentence. Do you like mangoes? Yes, I do. So you are using do for mangoes. Do you like mangoes? Yes, I do. You say, yes, I like mangoes. But in place of like mangoes, you are using do. You can say, yes, I think so. So I think so is also replacing like mangoes, right? For example, if I ask you that, do you love your country? And you tell me, yes, I do. So you are replacing do for love your country. So this is substitution. Another cohesive device is known as ellipsis. Sometimes we don't even need to provide a substitute for a word or a phrase which has already been said. We can simply omit it and know that the missing part can be reconstructed quite successfully. Instead of answering, would you like a glass of beer? With yes, I would like a glass of beer. You don't have to say yes, I would like a glass of beer. You say, we can just say yes, I would. So you are not replacing a word, you are just omitting and it is understood. So the rest is understood. For example, would you like to go with me? And you tell me, yes, I would. So you don't say, yeah, I would love to go with you. You say, I would. So by saying I would, so it is understood the rest of the sentence. So by ellipsis, you are omitting something, but you are not substituting. Another cohesive device, we have conjunction. Yet another type of formal relation between sentences is provided by those words and phrases which explicitly draw attention to the type of relationship which exists between one sentence or clause and another. So these are conjunction. They can simply add more information. So we use conjunction to add more information. We use like in addition, furthermore, for example. So what has already been said, we can use furthermore, add, so that, and in addition, or elaborate or exemplify something. We use, for example, thus, in other words, and they can contrast new information with old information or put another side to the argument. So then you can say, or on the other hand, however, or conversely. So they may relate new information to what has already been given in terms of causes. So you can use so, consequently, because, for this reason, or in time. You can say formally, then, in and next. Or they may indicate a new departure or a summary. Then you can use by the way, while, or to sum up, anyway. So these are different conjunctions. Sometimes when you want to add information, you can say furthermore, add to that, or you can say in addition. Sometimes you want to elaborate something, you can say, for example, for instance, etc. Or sometimes you are talking about in contrast of something, you can say on the other hand, or blah blah blah. So this was all about cohesive devices or formal links in discourse which connect one sentence with another or one paragraph with another. So thank you so much. Please provide your valuable feedback and suggestion. If you have any question, please you can put in your question in comment box. Thank you so much.